Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be ranking all of Mooncat's collections from 2023. So I know we are in a new year and should be focusing on like the new things ahead of us, but I think this is an appropriate time to kind of reflect on the year before, and especially because Mooncat, along with a lot of other boutique brands, basically put out a new collection every single month of the year. So I kind of want to do a little brand recap, if you will, but I'm going to be ranking them and putting them in a tier list just to make it a little bit more interesting and fun. So that being said, this is going to be entirely subjective and going off of my personal taste. If there's a collection that you really liked that I ranked a little bit low, don't take it personally, you know, it's just my experience with these polishes. But I do hope it opens up some conversation around some of these collections, because I know with Mooncat especially, they did have some issues with their formulations. And I've even mentioned it in several of my videos before that their formulas were kind of hit or miss. It'd be interesting to see how we all feel about each of these collections. I'm also going to be ranking these just kind of based on very general things like the theme of the collection, the color palette, and the general finishes, because again, this video is just like for fun and I'm not trying to grade Mooncat or give them like some kind of feedback this way. But if you have an idea on how to refine my kind of grading or ranking metric, I would love to know, because I would love to continue this for the other boutique brands at least. So let's get into the tier list. Okay, so this might be a little bit of a weird setup and hopefully I'm able to make it work, but starting with the first collection that came out in January, that was the Tale of 5 Lacquers, and it basically was a 5-piece collection consisting of all cream polishes, this like literary academia inspired theme. And as far as the theme and color palette goes, I like them. I mean, they didn't really stand out to me as much. It was nice to finally get a group of creams from Mooncat because they had released a lot of specialty finish polishes, but unfortunately, if you watch my review video of that collection, I was not impressed with their formulas. Even though I am pretty sure they were all 2 coaters on me, the first coat was just weird and not what I was expecting for a brand like Mooncat. I just have a higher expectations from brands, especially boutique brands that charge more, where the first coat of a cream should be so deliciously opaque, buttery smooth. I know that they can't all be like 1 coaters, but I don't know. I just was not impressed with the first coat of these creams. And so because of that, I'm actually gonna rank this one as a C tier. I'm definitely open to more Mooncat creams, but I just would really hope that the formulas are a lot better, because they just really weren't impressive to me. Even as far as the color story goes, like I do like how they match the theme, but I just really don't end up reaching for these shades all that much. And I just hope that they put out different, more appealing shades maybe. So then in February, we got the Goddess Complex collection, and that was a 6-piece set that had these shimmery, sheer, ethereal sort of shades. They were mainly like these crelly sort of bases that had these like iridescent shimmers and this like dainty hollow sparkle. As you probably know, I'm a big fan of that finish, especially from Cirque's line. So to see this from Mooncat, I was really excited, especially because the polishes were so pretty. I loved the theme, love the color palette. It's just so soft and romantic and very much up my alley. I personally had a great experience watching these. Like they were still sheer for me on 3 coats, but I expected that and didn't really have any issues with them. But I've heard that other people just haven't had that same experience with these. So I can understand if these place a little bit lower in your rankings, and I really debated putting them in like S tier. Just really love this collection, but I think I'm gonna give them an A. Then in March, we got the iconic Lost in a Folktale collection, and I feel like this was just such a winner for so many people. This was a 6-piece collection that had a mix of different finishes and colors. We had some jelly flakies with Stumped and Shroomdom. We had a magnetic with Weeping Willow, and then some ethereal shimmery shades with the other 3. If you watched my nail polish awards video, this should be no surprise because this won my Nailed the Theme award. So I have to give this one an S tier. Really just captured those like magical woodland vibes, but with that Mooncat feel where it's a little bit darker. Just so good. Then in April, we got the Pretty Prehistoric collection, and that was a big collection. It consisted of 8 polishes in an assortment assortment of colors and finishes. I think this was the first time they also introduced their new ultra fine flaky finish with the shades Tectonic Shift and Molten Lava. And all of these polishes in this collection dry down matte as well. This was also the collection where they debuted their new paddle brushes, except they didn't tell anybody. They just kind of wanted to make that change and see if people noticed. I, embarrassingly enough, did not notice right away. I definitely did notice a difference in the formulas just being so much smoother. I wasn't sure if it's because they just dried down matte or something, but I just don't know why I didn't put it together that there is also a new brush. So even though we love the new brush, it definitely has made a world of difference and is a lot better than their old one. As far as the collection goes, it was cute. I mean, you know, we love like a fun, quirky, dinosaur-themed collection. Like, how often do we see that? Okay, I know that I think the year before, China Glaze did like a Jurassic World one. And generally, I think Mooncat did it better. They definitely had some really popular shades in that set, like Sabertooth and I think Molten Lava. Aside from that, I personally just haven't really gravitated towards them. So while I can totally respect and admire the creativity for that collection, I think I'm gonna give it a C. I don't know, I'm torn because I want to put it in the B because it was like a nice collection. There's only like one or two shades that I just like didn't like. I definitely do like them more than the Tale of 5 Lacquers, but yeah, let's just put it in B for now. Then in May, we got the Mermaid Tales collection, and that one was such a fun one. It was another 6-piece collection that had an assortment of finishes. We had a few jelly, flaky, shimmery kind of polishes, another ultra fine flaky with catfish, which I really loved. And I don't know what finish Plankton would be considered. It was the green where it kind of had like almost like a shimmery metallic sort of look to it. I really love this collection. It's another one that was pretty up my alley. Even though I only really gravitated towards Merkitten, Hermit Crab, and Catfish, I still love the collection as a whole. I think it's one of their more fun ones, so I'm gonna give it an A tier, but behind Goddess Complex. And in June, we saw Mooncat's first collab of the year with Alice in Wonderland. That was such a fun one. Like, I really love that collab so much. I especially love the packaging, and I think the polishes just fit the theme so well. Even though I was a little disappointed in not getting a red, as were so many other people, we did eventually get a red with like the very next collection, so it wasn't that big of a deal, I guess. But yeah, this was another standout for me personally. Even though this is another collection I really haven't gone back to that much other than Wish I Hadn't Cried So Much, it's still one that I think of and I just like hold in such a high regard just because of the execution of it. So this is another one that I'm gonna give an A to, but I think I'm gonna put it between Mermaid Tales and Goddess Complex because at least personally, I just would gravitate more towards the Goddess Complex shades. Then in July, we got the Underworld collection, and this was such a cool one. This was another 6-piece set that included a lot of like shimmer polishes, I guess. They were generally a lot more opaque than the Goddess Complex shimmers, for example. Oh, there's also the ultra fine flaky House of Hades. Absolutely iconic. It had everybody and their mother in a chokehold. I personally really love this collection. From the theme, the color story, the formulas and finishes, just all absolutely amazing that I was just so impressed. Like, of course, leave it to Mooncat to launch a super dark vampy shade in the middle of summer, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. And I'm a seasonal wearer, like I don't normally do that, so this is another S tier for me. Then in August, Mooncat launched their Midnight Rodeo collection, which was this massive 10-piece collection with this obvious like western desert theme that I like to say has this Mooncat Area 51 twist. I feel like this one was really fun with its theme, like pretty much on par with the Pretty Prehistoric collection, where it's just very creative, very out there. Not that we haven't seen like desert themes before, but at least not like this. Like, I loved seeing Mooncat's take on it specifically. Half of the collection definitely felt very like fall appropriate. There were a lot of these brown, like multi-chrome sort of shades. And then the other half was a bit more funky. Actually wearing one of the polishes, Moonrise, it is obviously my favorite. It's this shimmery pink with like blue shimmer and hollow flakies. I personally didn't have any like complaints about the formulas or anything, but it's just not a collection that I really cared about so much maybe, which I know might sound crazy. Again, if you did watch my nail polish awards video, this collection actually won Nailed the Theme for everybody who voted. I was just kind of surprised by that. Like, I don't know, there's just something about this collection that didn't really stand out to me that much. Like, it was fun, of course, but I wouldn't put it like above any other Mooncat collection. So again, because it's kind of on par with Pretty Prehistoric for me, I'm gonna give it a B, but I'm gonna put it in front of Pretty Prehistoric because I think there's like a few more polishes that I liked in Midnight Rodeo, and generally as a full collection I feel like it was just a little bit better executed maybe. Pretty Prehistoric just seemed very like experimental. In September, we got the Band of Misfits, which was this little quad of prototype polishes, which I really love the idea of that for sure. I would love to see more prototype releases. I feel like so far we only saw that from Mooncat with this collection and then Hollow Taco with their declassified set. So don't get me wrong, I am very much on board with that. This quad, it was cute. I mean, I really loved Sin Eater for sure. Moonicorn was also another beautiful shade, like very much up my alley. And Space Oddity was absolutely beautiful, being this like hot pink, multi-chrome, flaky kind of polish. But I don't know, it just wasn't another one that really like stood out to me. It definitely felt like a very filler collection, so to speak. So I'm kind of torn on this one too, between giving it a B or a C. It would be like a high C or like a low B. Definitely do love it more than the Tale of 5 Lacquers set, but I don't know about the other two collections. Then for October, we saw Mooncat's second collab of the year, and that was with Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. This was quite a controversial one. Like, it definitely was very much on brand for Mooncat to collab with them. If you watched my review video, you know that I had a good experience with the polishes and I generally like them. Like, I thought they were pretty glitters. I like the shimmers. The only like complaint that I had with the shimmers was that they all glowed green, and I wish that there was at least like another color. I saw somebody comment wishing that What a Brilliant Nose had an orange glow in the dark effect, and I was like, oh my god, that would have been so perfect. But I know a lot of people were just kind of let down with this collection. Came in second place in my nail polish awards video for the most disappointing release, which was really crazy to me. If anything, the thing that I was disappointed in with this collection was actually the packaging. I felt like it just wasn't on par with the packaging that we saw for Alice in Wonderland or even Hocus Pocus 2. That just kind of fell like a little flat for me. The point that I would say it would belong in like the C tier, honestly, but I really do like the polishes, so I don't think I can rank them that low. I think it feels most right to have them in the B tier in front of the Band of Misfits collection and the Pretty Prehistoric collection. And actually, you know what? I think I would put it in front of Midnight Rodeo just because I think I just would wear more of the Nightmare Before Christmas shades than the Midnight Rodeo shades. Then in November, we actually didn't see Mooncat release a collection. Instead, they only released one polish during their lunar sale, and that was Your Heart's a Black Hole. It is a dark red magnetic base with this lighter red magnetic shimmer and then this like dainty sort of hollow sparkle. I recently shared my favorite magnetics video and I featured this polish, so obviously I really love it. There's just something so beautiful about this shade, especially being a magnetic and launching in November. Like, it's just a perfect Christmas holiday red to me. It's a little hard to rank this because it's just one polish compared to just collections, but I think I would give this polish an A tier. And then for December, we saw Mooncat launch My Inner Apocalypse, which was another big 8-piece collection. This one had 2 magnetics, but mainly a lot of like darker shimmer polishes. I absolutely loved the theme of this polish and like the marketing and everything. It just was so cool and so on brand for Mooncat. But the polishes themselves, I just didn't love, or at least I wasn't totally blown away by all of them the way that I was expecting to be. I pretty much felt like a lot of the shimmers were just almost too subtle compared to the other shimmer polishes that we've seen from Mooncat. And I get that it makes sense because these are like dark and grungy and gritty, just like a little bit pretty with that subtle sparkle. But I don't know, some of the polishes to me, especially in like low lighting or indirect lighting, just kind of looked muddy. And again, maybe that's, you know, part of the theme, but I just didn't love it so much. Don't get me wrong though, there were some absolute beauties and bangers in that collection. I guess it really also depends on just like the mood and vibe that you're feeling, because for me, winter is already like a depressive season, and these colors being like so dark and gritty is just like not really doing wonders for my mood. I'm just kind of craving lighter shades, you know? But this seems like something I would love more in like the fall heading into winter when like the weather's changing, but not when I'm like in the thick of it. You know what I mean? So for that, I think I'm gonna put it in a B tier as well. Definitely in front of Pretty Prehistoric, but I don't know if I would put it in front of Midnight Rodeo. I think I do like some of those polishes more than my Inner Apocalypse. So here's a look at my completed 2023 collections tier list for Mooncat. I probably should have said it at the beginning that a lot of these are gonna rank on like the higher end, because I just really enjoyed Mooncat collections last year. I feel like they were definitely like one of the top brands last year in general. Like everybody was talking about them, loving them, influencing each other to get them. They had such creative themes and really did a great job like nailing those aesthetics. So overall, great year for Mooncat for sure. So that pretty much wraps up the video. Again, I would love to know your thoughts on how I ranked everything. Just as a reminder, this is totally based off of like my taste and my experiences with these polishes. I feel like a lot of the collections or even like specific polishes were super popular for Mooncat, but I'm not really trying to take that into account. It's more so just me and how much I enjoyed them. But yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of what Mooncat put out last year, and I'm really excited to see what they put out this year. I know it can be so easy to just get overwhelmed with all of the new collections, and it was kind of crazy to think that Mooncat did release something every single month, especially some months having bigger collections where there are like 8 to 10 polishes. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video and doing this little brand collection recap. I am planning on making this like a very limited mini series for the other boutique brands as well, mainly because they just are the ones to release a lot of collections and they're the ones that I'm the most familiar with. So let me know which brand you would want to see next down below, or leave me any and all thoughts that you have so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.